Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mayor Heidi Herzberg with the City of Deltona, and we'd like to welcome you to our updated press briefing for this afternoon. So first of all, we have a few people here today to go ahead and give you several different updates. We have State Representative David Santiago. We have Volusia County School Board District 5 Representative Ruben. We have Assistant School Superintendent Patricia Corr, who is here on behalf of Dr. Fritz. And we also have statements from the West Volusia Hospital Authority, Advent Health, and Halifax Health. So to start out, I'd like to go ahead and bring up Representative Santiago for his updates on testing. Representative, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thanks for those that are streaming or following along. Obviously, very important time. So I just wanted to share with everybody where we at as far as testing sites. As some of you may have heard, we now, over the past, tomorrow will make 2 weeks, we have 4 testing sites in Volusia County. We're very proud of the fact that we got some testing sites up and running pretty quickly. 2 on the east side and 2 on the west side. In particular, there's one here in Deltona, which is at 1200 Deltona Boulevard. It's the old Winn-Dixie Shopping Plaza, right in front of Crunch Fitness, or right next door. These facilities are open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or until supplies run out for the day or weather permitting. I want to encourage everyone, excuse me, I want to encourage everyone, whether you felt that you were either exposed to someone or you have some symptoms, or even if you're not sure, go to one of these sites. We have medical professionals that will evaluate you. They'll ask you some questions, and then there will be determined whether you should be tested. So if you feel concerned, take the time. It'll probably take you an hour or less round trip because the lines are moving fairly quickly, and get tested. We are going to my office, and many of the ones that are supporting me right now, we're going to fight for these kits and the supplies and the staffing and all of the support personnel that are helping make these successful, as long as you all continue to come out and support and get tested. So if we have the crowds, we will fight to make sure that everything we need to make these successful is available for you all. So please come on out. 4 locations, and then we get the results and hopefully bring a sense of comfort for you all, whether or not this positive, and practice the proper social distancing. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Representative, for that update. It's exciting that we have some drive-up testing here in Deltona and around the county now. I think it's important. The more people get tested, the more clue we'll have on really what the infection rate is in Volusia County and what kind of spread we're looking at and how long we're going to have to participate with social distancing and having non-essential businesses closed and so forth. So next, I'd like to go ahead and have Ruben come up and go ahead and provide your school board update.
Good afternoon, and once again we find ourselves here again, prepared and continuing online education for our students. As of right now, schools are set to resume on May 1st until the governor decides otherwise. We will follow the direction of the governor. We have, however, prepared in our Phase 2 plan to provide education to students all the way till May 29th, should it be required. I want to continue to encourage folks to take advantage of our meals. We have 24 stops right here in Deltona where folks are able to pick up meals during designated times. You can view those times on our website. I just want to say thank you. We've heard a lot from parents. You know, this is something that's never happened before, so we had to use our expertise in trying to make this all come together very quickly. Phase 1, we had about 4 to 5 days to get ready during spring break for our families, and so now Phase 2 will go all the way to the end of the year, should it be required. So we have heard you loud and clear, and we've made some adjustments to that education. We've found ways to make things easier. We've found ways to also minimize some of the requirement, realizing that everybody in their home has a different situation. I encourage you to reach out to your teachers, to the administration at your schools. Let them know if you have any barriers. We want to work with you. We want you to be successful. So once again, thank you, and I'm going to yield the rest of my time to Patty Corr. She is our Assistant Superintendent who's here on behalf of Dr. Fritz, and she's going to speak a little bit more of what parents are to expect in that Phase 2 approach to education. Once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your schools, and there is also a hotline number that is available that you can reach out to for assistance as well. Thank you, Ms. Corr.
Thank you, Mr. Colon. Thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to be here today. I'm excited to greet you, and we send our well wishes from the school board. We certainly are feeling the pain, and we know this is uncharted waters and uncomfortable times. If I could give you any message today is to our students. Our teachers miss and love you, and our principals and our school staff cannot wait to have you back on our school campuses. I can say that with 100% certainty. As you know, today we rolled out Phase 2 of our instructional continuity plan, and that was necessary because the governor, as Mr. Colon said, did extend our closure until the end of April, until May 1st. We did want to be well prepared for parents so that they wouldn't have to continue to keep coming back to campus should that extend longer, and that's why if you are a family that opted for the paper packet instruction, it's a lot larger than what you receive for Phase 1 because there's a lot more content there. We understand it's very difficult, and some of our students are home, and maybe there's not someone there to assist them with their instruction. So we're very much encouraging for you to reach out to your teachers and your principals from your school sites, and us, the assistant superintendents, if you need additional assistance. What we've been doing, as Mr. Colon said, we have over 63,000 students. That's 63,000 individual cases, 63,000 individual students that have different needs. And so we're working on those one by one. We do know that there are some families that have multiple students and did not have as many devices. So as we find out about those, we are issuing additional devices to homes to assist students with the online learning. What you will also see in the Phase 2 of the ICP is a much reduced demand for weekly minutes in the elementary side, and that was reduced by about 200 minutes per week. So the curriculum people in conjunction with our curriculum specialists at the district, in conjunction with teachers across the district, work very closely to really get those resources aligned for the items that the students really needed to keep their education going. We realize it was hard for the amount of time during Phase 1, so that's why your feedback to us is so important. And as you continue to give us feedback, we continue to refine the process. And there were also some reductions in the time requirement in secondary as well. All of the Phase 2 ICP information can be found on our district website. And what's very nice about it is very clean and easy to use. What you'll find in there are the attendance expectations, grading guidelines, and then student checklists that students can use to make sure each day of the week they're making sure they're hitting what they should be hitting in each of their subject areas or what would be required for them, as well as teacher expectations for the week. And a lot of people worked very hard to put those items together for everybody, but the main thing at this point and what's going to keep everybody going is that open communication. So please, if you have any concerns at all, make sure you get a hold of us and we will work through those individual cases with you. And remember that when this happened, the governor told all school districts to create an instructional continuity plan. And so one of the things we worry about is sometimes over summer, we have a little backsliding in academics because some students aren't engaged in summer school or they're not engaged in reading or doing math. Well, if you add on to that all of May, possibly all of May, all of April, and part of March, that's a long time for students to not have instruction. So everything we do, we're going to err on what's best for students, but we wanted to make sure they were still able to have access to learning those standards, because at some point we all will be back in schools and we want to have as small of a gap in learning as we possibly can. And so that's kind of the purpose behind that. The instructional continuity plan is really as best we can to keep that instruction, to keep the teaching and learning going for the benefit of our students, so next year we can go back into the school year seamlessly. We very much hope and wish we will see you on May 1st, and I thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I hope that helped for a school update. So what I'd like to do now is go ahead and read the statements from some different agencies that couldn't be here today. And the first is going to be from Dolores Guzman, Chair of the West Volusia Hospital Authority. I would like to offer my condolences to the families that have lost a family member caused by the virus. Our hearts and prayers are with you. To those that have contracted the virus, please stay home and protect your families and others from getting the virus. We are living in difficult times, but together Americans will overcome any obstacles, big or small. I want to take this opportunity to inform health card members of the West Volusia Hospital Authority of some changes. First, if you need to be tested for the virus, please do not hesitate to do so because no copays will be assessed at this time for the COVID-19 tests. Visit the sites available here in Deltona, DeLand, or Daytona Beach. Advent Health and Family Health Source are managing these sites. Second, all expiration dates for April, May, and June have been moved to July. If your eligibility falls within those months, please feel free to seek your services if necessary with no problems. Letters have been sent to the members affected on those months explaining the procedures. If you have lost your insurance because you lost your employment, please feel free to contact the house next door for information on how to apply for the services. If you have any questions and would like to speak directly to Ms. Guzman, call 407-314-4007. That's 407-314-4007. Thank you and stay safe and at home. I'd like to now go ahead and read a statement from Advent Health, and this is going to be an update on the testing at Daytona International Speedway. The testing at the Speedway is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or as long as testing supplies are available. Results can be expected in approximately 2 to 3 days. Those tested will receive a text message with instructions on how to retrieve the results. Those who test positive will receive a call from a nurse to review the results. The tests will be available to anyone who meets the criteria for testing as set by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A doctor order is not required for testing. There are no out-of-pocket costs regardless of insurance status. As of the end of Tuesday, Advent Health has collected more than 2,000 specimens since opening on Friday, April 10th. Overall, the Central Florida Division has tested more close to 13,000 people in our hospitals and Centra Care urgent care facilities, more than any other health care system in Florida. So that's an update from Advent Health and their testing at Daytona International Speedway. So to reiterate, they're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now we'll have also a statement from the Medical Center of Deltona, Halifax Health. We continue to be prepared if there is a patient surge. However, our volumes of patients with COVID-19 continue to be small. We continue to evaluate the community situation, and we are properly resourced and wish to thank everyone for their amazing support. As a side note, tomorrow I will be doing a Facebook Live at 3 p.m. with Halifax Health, confronting the COVID-19 crisis in West Volusia, and that will be with Chief Medical Officer Dr. Margaret Crossman. You can view that on Facebook Live. So thank you very much for those three statements from those three agencies. And as a wrap up, I just wanted to go ahead and give you some numbers for not only the city of Deltona regarding positive or testing. The first thing right now in Florida, according to 10 a.m. this morning, the numbers from floridadisaster.org, there have been a total of 22,897 people that have been tested. Volusia, we have 255 positive cases in Volusia. We have a total of 44 in the city of Deltona. That's as of 10 a.m. today. We have 8 deaths and 49 hospitalizations. That's the update today from for Volusia County. For more information and to look into your zip code area to see how many cases you have there, you can go to floridadisaster.org. Also, if you have any other questions for assistance, housing, help, domestic violence help, and so forth, go to 211live.org. That is the United Way's agency, their way to get a hold of the United Way, 211live.org, because they have a bunch of resources if you're in need for multiple different things. So that is a resource you can go ahead and reach out to countywide. And just to give a quick update, what I wanted to also say with Representative Santiago, we thank him very much for promoting and getting the testing here, the drive-up testing here in Deltona on Deltona Boulevard. And I just would like to give you those hours. So Family Health Source on Deltona Boulevard and Deltona Plaza. The drive-up testing is available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. That will be until May 1st or until supplies are exhausted. And just a couple of numbers for this week. The testing began on Monday. On Monday, they tested 168 people. Tuesday, they tested 169 people. And yesterday, they tested 110, and that ended early because of the weather. They did open 12:30 today for more testing. So if you're in the Deltona area and you can go there to drive up, if you have the symptoms, please go ahead and take advantage of that. And to wrap up, I would just like to go ahead and if our Vice Mayor wanted to come up and say anything for our Spanish-speaking people, he's welcome to do that, Vice Mayor Victor Ramos. And if you want to go ahead and give any information for our drive-up testing or anything in Spanish, you can go ahead. Please feel free, Vice Mayor.
Thank you much. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I also want to just add, as it relates to what's happening over at the Deltona Boulevard site with Family Health Source, we have two businesses that are helping and making sure that staff is being fed out there. So we want to say thank you to Monster Pizza and as well to Bagel King that will be providing for our folks that are working out there. Mi gente, de nuevo, el lugar de 1200 Deltona Boulevard estará abierto de lunes a viernes de 8 a 5:30 de la tarde. Los números el lunes fueron 167 personas que fueron examinadas. El martes fueron 168. Ayer por la lluvia tuvieron que parar un poquito más temprano, tuvieron 110 y hoy comenzaron después de las 2:30 y tengo entendido que había un buen número de carros todavía. So, por favor, si tienen alguno de los síntomas, si tienen algunas preguntas, salgan y vayan a ver que le van a dar el examen. Si no tiene seguro, no hay ningún problema, todavía le dan el examen. So, muchísimas gracias y manténganse en las casas si es posible y seguimos para adelante. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And I would just like to say this is a complete community effort. Every time we've had one of these press conferences, we've been fortunate enough to have members of the media here. We've been having a great response from our school board. Thank you, Representative Ruben Colon, and also thank you for coming out here today, Ms. Corr. And we also just want to say thank you to our first responders, to the Deltona Fire Department, and to EVAC, and our Sheriff's Department, and every single first responder that has to work in Volusia County, because we all work together. We'd also like to say thank you to all of our healthcare professionals and everyone that's on the front lines, and all of our essential workers, those people that are helping you in the grocery stores, those people that are helping you in the pharmacies, and they're all out there every single day at risk, as we know. And I'd also like to say a very, very big thank you to State Representative David Santiago for really getting us the testing site here in Deltona, and also the other two sites that we've got set up, one in DeLand and one in Daytona through Family Health Source. So once again, do we have any questions from the media? Did you have anything, Al?
Yeah, I'd like to talk with the school board representatives.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Is the assistant superintendent
She's
here
right
too?
there.
Hi.
Hello.
Couple questions.
Yes, sir.
To begin with, May 1st is on a Friday. Is that the day you anticipate opening school, May 1st?
According to what the governor said, we're closed through May 1st, so it would be the following Monday.
It may sound rather frillish or silly, but do you really think kids are going to show up on a Friday going into weekend after being off so long?
We hope so. We hope so. If we're open, we want the kids there. I can tell you that.
And the second question, maybe this requires a little more thought, but for a moment, seeing what we've been through, keep hearing about this as an unprecedented national emergency. To what extent do you think this will be looked back on as an education for the kids, just as the generation before me went through the Depression and World War II? The kids that are going through this now, what kind of education do you think they're going to get from this?
One of
Some
the
thoughts.
One of the things I can say, having been in this business 21 years, is that kids are extremely resilient. And I think sometimes we don't give our students enough credit in that regard. And as far as what we're doing with the technology, these students from kindergarten, pre-K even, they're working with the iPads, they're working with technology. Sometimes it's the adults that have a little harder time switching over to more of a technological learning. I think it's going to be a huge learning process for everybody, all of us. I know in the future, should we be faced with something like this again, we have our ICP plan now ready to roll. This one we had to build and create from scratch when this occurred. We're in Florida, so we very much have hurricane plans. We've been doing that forever, and we know how that operates, and we have shelters, and that's a well-oiled machine in that event. But this was something completely different for us. I believe that the students are at home. I think they're eager to learn. We've been hearing a lot of great stories from teachers and how they're communicating with their kids through the electronics, and still instructing them and still having them ask questions, and through email or we are using a product called Microsoft Teams. And that's a great way for teachers to communicate with the students. So I think, nothing ever will replace our teachers in the front of the room and our students in the classroom. So we're doing the absolute best we can, of course, and trying to keep the instruction going. But whenever we can get back, we want, even if it's for a week, we want our kids back in schools.
Absolutely, and I'll add to that, Al. We had a school board meeting on Tuesday, and we were discussing future textbook adoption, and the conversation quickly changed to, okay, what textbook has a backup where they have an electronic platform, so that if we ever needed to do this again, the actual textbook they're using in the classroom can also be accessed electronically. So I think that's going to be in the future of our preparation for anything like this, so that if school is ever closed for a longer period of time than just a few days as we're used to with a hurricane, kids can access the education that way.
Well, that may beget another question. What do you do if you can't access the electronics? What do you do if you have to go back to actually reading a book instead of reading something off a screen?
So one of the things so that's a great question. One of the things that we were faced with is a lot of the students didn't have the electronics at home. A lot of them did. The majority of them did. So we actually, and I don't know what the exact number, but it's in the thousands, loaned out iPads and laptops for our students to use. We just approved the purchase of 2,000 more laptops in order to be able to bridge this need as well. It isn't just for this response. However, we are looking at enhancing more technology, as a lot of educational resources are available now, sourced through technology. So, you want to add to that? Or you go?
No, that was absolutely correct. And as students, especially our upper level students, for those that are getting ready to go to college, most colleges have electronic textbooks now. So this is something kind of the way of the world. The resources we have now, we have the hardback, but we do have internet access. For example, in middle school, we use HMH Collection for Language Arts. There's the hard book, but there's also all of the resources are also available through their website as well.
Thank you, Al. So thank you again, everyone, for being here today. And thank you to not only our first responders and everyone on the front lines that I've already mentioned. I'd like to say thank you to our city staff who continues to work throughout this pandemic. And you guys are always there, and you're doing these press conferences for us, and you're keeping the city going. And so thank you for that. And I'd also like to thank the residents of Deltona and Volusia County, because you are the ones that are practicing the social distancing. You're the ones that are wearing the masks and staying at home. And, you know, as you heard from the schools, the school representatives, May 1st is going to be an interesting day for us. We'll see if the governor's order ends on April 30th and see what happens May 1st. But, you know, we have a couple more weeks of looking at numbers and seeing what happens. So I just would ask all of you to continue practicing the social distancing, take care of yourselves. If you need to get tested, I hope that our updates today have given you some insight as to where you can get tested. And hopefully when we meet again next week, we'll have some other testing available. And maybe as time goes on, those people that are a little more asymptomatic or have not as many symptoms will also be able to get tested. So thank you, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.